Hey everyone, this is my first official live, but I wanted to just go live because there was just really something on my heart. It's April, April the 12th, 2021. And so I don't know about you, but for me, when I was homeschooling, I have four kids, and they are now 10th, ninth, 8th, and sixth graders. And so I homeschooled through 2020, my 10th grader, and then now all of my students are in traditional school. But this morning I have just had something on my heart because I remember when I was homeschooling full time, and I mean just parenting in general, I called my called December and April my depression cycles. And I said it jokingly, but it kind of wasn't a joke. It was really how it felt. At the beginning of the school year, I would plan all summer. And so I'm all excited and gung ho at the beginning of the school year. But then once December hit, all of that curriculum I planned and all of my wonderful Excel spreadsheets and lesson plans and all of that, some of those things worked out and some of them not so much. And so I kind of felt December um, that beginning feeling of feeling defeated a bit, and feeling like maybe I wasn't enough, I wasn't doing this homeschooling thing right. Maybe I am not smart enough to do this. I'm not patient enough to do this. Like some other mom could probably homeschool my kids way better than I could. I don't know if you ever thought that, but I'm just being transparent about how homeschooling felt for a while during my journey, and actually for a really good amount of my homeschooling journey. And so I just wanted to talk to the moms out there who might be feeling the same way, because I felt the same way in April. So once the school year ended, I would go through the evaluation of my school year. Did I do enough? Um, are my kids behind? Did I miss anything? Did I skip anything? Are they going to be on level? It's just all the things that go through our minds as homeschooling moms from time to time, and homeschooling dads. And so this morning in particular, as I was thinking about April, because it's April, thinking about all of the changes that have taken place for all of us with the 2020 pandemic, and it's continuing right now, that I wanted to share something that I have found extremely helpful. I read this every year. It's called Teaching from Rest. And if you don't have this book, it's kind of like I have my Bible and my Teaching from Rest book. And this book really got me through, because I wanted to come on and encourage every single parent here that is homeschooling, whether you're COVID homeschooling or whether you were homeschooling before COVID, to just homeschool at the pace of peace. Homeschool at the pace of peace. There were so many times that I homeschooled at the pace of fear and anxiety, fear of missing something, fear of skipping. I don't know. They're gonna miss some kind of math content or grammar content, and then they'll be living in my basement for the rest of their life. I don't know. Maybe you don't think catastrophically, but I can think that way sometimes. So, anyhow, I want to read you something from this book, and I just encourage you. This is not a paid promotion. I bought this book. I just like this book, and I just like to share it with people. But when I feel anxious, most of the time, my anxiety or um, my sadness around homeschooling came when I had planned, I had my little Excel spreadsheet. I don't know about you or how you plan, but I had these grandiose ideas of what was going to happen that particular day. And then I didn't quite plan that my eight-year-old would be crying over the math lesson at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it was really difficult for me to adjust my day at that moment and to just accept the day that's in front of me. And so these sentences in this book, I read them every single year. I do read the book every year, but every single year I stop at this section. It's on page 3. And it says, surrender your idea of what the ideal homeschool day is supposed to look like and take on with both hands the day that it is. Let me just say that one more time. Surrender your idea of what the ideal homeschool day is supposed to look like and take on with both hands the day that it is. Rest. Also, homeschooling at pace of peace begins with acceptance, with surrender. Can we accept that he or what he is sending today? Can we accept what the Lord is sending today? So I just want to encourage you, two main things, maybe three. The first thing is I just encourage you to accept the day that's in front of you and to know that is the day. And it's okay if that day does not look like what you planned. Again, like I said, there have been many times when I homeschooled and what I planned for that day is not exactly what happened. Um, and sometimes it was difficult, but what I have learned in hindsight is that those were the moments that I really needed to submit to what was happening in that moment and change my plans for the day. When I did that, it worked out well. So crying child, frustrated child, was the hard thing in my house. When I surrendered to what it was that was in front of me that day. And even though it wasn't maybe, or my plan was to finish math, but his plan was for me to sit down and give my child empathy or space, or maybe even a ride to Chick-fil-A to get an ice cream cone and say, you know what, no math today. Let me work on the relationship. Let me work on why my child doesn't feel like he or she can do this math problem. Maybe they need encouragement, not necessarily the math instruction or the grammar uh, assignment that day. So my first thing is just, if you're feeling discouraged, it's okay. This is kind of sort of part of the process sometimes. But I just encourage you to accept the day that's in front of you and to know that that day is worth it, even if you don't get all of the things done on your to-do list. The second thing that I want to share with you is something that a friend of mine shared with me. And it helped me to kind of really organize my thoughts in terms of what do I deem a successful day. Because at one time it was, okay, if I get all of these lessons done, if we get all of our assignments done, we have had success. But really, she asked me, when you lay your head down on the pillow at night, what is it that bothers you the most if you don't get it done? And honestly, when I asked myself that question, honestly, I never really felt stress or pressure when I didn't get a math lesson done. It might have been bothersome because, I wanted to check my box. But when I didn't, when I did not take care of my big rocks, so when I was impatient instead of yielding to my child's frustration and adjusting myself, those are the things that bothered me um, when I laid my head down on the pillow at night. Or those are the things that encouraged me that when we didn't maybe get the assignment done, but I gave them space to be human because they are human, then those are the days I said, you know what, I didn't get the work done, but wow, I feel great and so do they. So I just encourage you to accept what is in front of you. Accept the day that is and not necessarily the day that you may have planned for it to be. And again, second thing, just think of the big rocks. When you lay your head down at night, what is it that that bothers you or that really you struggle with if you don't get it done? So again, like I said, the big rocks were the relationship with my kids. And I didn't get that right a lot of the time, to just be transparent and honest with you. We laugh about it now, but it wasn't funny at the time. But right now, I realize that the relationship with my kids is so much more important than, I don't know, getting a math assignment done or English assignment done. And I just want to also give you some encouragement that what you're doing is enough. Like, don't overdo it. I could tell you a couple of funny stories. Well, I tell you one, I'll tell you two. Well, one funny story and then one story that taught me a lesson. So my very first year of homeschooling, we did classical conversations for the majority of our homeschooling. There was only one, the very last year of our homeschooling, we pulled out of classical conversations and we literally just stayed at home because my children were over the running, the ripping, the running, the activities, all the things that we were doing. And so my first year of homeschooling, I signed up for classical conversations. I signed up for a co-op. And it's embarrassing now, but then I also signed up for online school. Crazy. I was crazy. I know it. Totally overwhelmed myself and my kids. The online homeschooling didn't last very long. That lasted for like 2 weeks. I'm like, this is, first of all, why am I doing stuff at home and this online thing and a co-op? Craziness. So we did do classical conversations and the co-op. Both we enjoyed, but it was a lot. It was just way too much. And it was overwhelming. And a lot of times throughout my homeschooling career, so to speak, I did that. I did way too much. Our best year, our absolute best year, though we enjoyed classical conversations, loved it. Our best year was the last year of homeschooling when we just stayed home. And so we had what I call classical mornings because I do love classical education. And then we had delight driven afternoons. And I let my kids pick whatever they wanted to do. I just said, you have to be reading something, learning something, researching something. I don't care. It's just not on the, not no television and that kind of stuff. But they had such a good time. And it was such a peaceful experience. And quite honestly, I feel like that year, out of all the years, my let's see, what grade was she in? I forgot. Anyway, she's my ninth grader now. But that particular year, I think she was in seventh grade that year. She read more books than we ever read when I, had the list and said, this is what we're reading and this goes along with our curriculum. And to this day, every single one of my high schoolers, my two oldest for sure, say, Mom, that was the best year that we homeschooled. That was the best year. The year where, in my book, we did not much. I wouldn't say nothing, but we definitely did not do as much as we generally did throughout the 9 years prior. It was the year that I let them be. I let them be. So, and right now, just to kind of let you know, because they're all in traditional school, and I have parents ask me, well, how do they do? How was the transition? All that good stuff. I have two students. I have right now an eighth grader and a sixth grader. Both of those students are what in general is titled as gifted. So they are in accelerated classes. I did nothing special. Trust me, I probably did way more wrong than I did right in homeschooling. So and they're doing great. I have two who are doing well, but they needed extra supports. So I have one who's on an IEP. I have one who's on a 504, but all of my students are doing well. All of them transitioned very well into public school education and have appreciated their homeschooling experience. So, you're good. You're enough. What you're doing is enough. So I just want to encourage you to do not have the depression cycles like I did the whole December, April, second guessing yourself, evaluating yourself, analyzing yourself to death. Don't do that. Just accept the day that's it. Make a plan. I'm not saying don't plan. I'm not saying that. Make a plan, but hold it loosely. Hold it loosely and um give that plan to the Lord and say, Lord, okay, here's what I planned, but help me to see in the moment each day what it is that your plan is. So, anyhow, I hope that's encouraging. Um, get this book. It's so good. I only read you one little part, but this book, you can read it in a day. It's a short read, but a powerful read, and it will really help give you a wonderful perspective so that you can homeschool at the pace of peace. All right. Well, you keep on homeschooling out there. I support all schooling, but I absolutely support my homeschooling moms and dads out there. It's not easy. It can be really difficult. And I just want to give you some encouragement that you got this. You have got this. So I'll see you next time. Take care. Take care.